I used to work at a little family-owned hardware store off Highway 19 called Barker's Supply and Feed. It was the kind of place that smelled like fertilizer and motor oil, with fans that didn't spin evenly and old. Country songs playing on a radio that buzzed more than it sang. We sold everything: animal feed, shovels, fishing gear, even guns. Most of the customers were locals: farmers, hunters, retirees killing time. You could tell who was coming by the sound of their truck before they even walked in, except for him. The first time I saw him, it was a Monday morning, early. The sun had barely burned the fog off the field. I was half asleep behind the register when the front door opened, but the bell didn't ring. That bell rang for everyone. But with him there was nothing, just silence. I looked up, expecting maybe someone had slipped in slow or held the door. But no, he had just walked in and it was silent. He was tall, too tall. Thin, but not weak-looking. His arms hung lower than normal, like his joints were just a little too loose. He wore a faded green jacket that looked heavy for the warm weather. He didn't look at me, didn't even glance, just walked straight to aisle 7, the rope aisle. He stood there for a long time without touching anything. I started to go ask if he needed help, but right as I stepped around the counter, he picked up a 25-foot bundle of braided nylon rope, the thick kind used for towing. He walked to the register and placed it down gently. His hands were pale, grayish, like he had no blood in them. I tried to make conversation. Working on a project? No response. I cleared my throat. Need anything else today? He looked at me then, not with curiosity, not with annoyance, just looked. And in a flat, quiet voice he said, "Not yet." Then he handed me exact cash pulled from inside his sleeve instead of a wallet and walked out. I watched him cross the parking lot to this old blue pickup truck. The paint was peeling like sunburned skin, and there was a massive oil stain under it, like it had been dripping in that exact spot for years. But it hadn't been there when I arrived. He sat in the truck, motionless for a full half-minute before, driving off without ever checking his mirrors. He came back exactly 1 week later. Same time, same rope, same silence. I started calling him Rope Guy in my head. Every Monday morning, 8:10 a.m. on the dot, he would come in and buy a single 25-foot coil of rope. Nothing else. No gloves, no tools. Never asked a question. Never looked around. Just rope. I mentioned it to my coworker Gary. He shrugged and said, "Some guys like rope." That was his whole theory. But I couldn't stop noticing things. He never opened the door loud enough to ring the bell. I never heard his footsteps, and no matter how early I got there, his truck was already parked in the same spot with the same dark stain under it. I even tried watching the parking lot one morning, staring at the space where he always parked. Looked away for a second to answer the phone, and when I turned back, he was already inside. No door sound, no bell, just there. After about 6 weeks, curiosity got the better of me. He came up to the register with his usual rope, and I said, "You know, we sell this in 250-foot spools. Might save you money if you're buying it every week." He froze. Not like he paused to think, he stopped functioning. His chest didn't rise. His eyes didn't blink. His whole body just went still, like he'd turned off. Then slowly he turned his head toward me. I don't mean he looked. His head rotated with this stiff creak like something dry twisting. His eyes were the worst part. They weren't glowing or demonic or anything dramatic. They were just flat. No reflection, no warmth. Just like they were painted on. He stared right through me and said, "That won't do." I forced a smile. "Why not?" He blinked once. "It has to be counted." Then he picked up the rope and left. That sentence stuck in my head. It has to be counted. Counted for what? He wasn't cutting it. He wasn't using it. He was collecting it. One precise length at a time. Why? So I made the dumbest decision of my life. I followed him. The next Monday, I parked around the side of the store instead of out front. When he left, I waited a moment, then pulled out and followed from far back. He drove exactly 35 miles per hour the entire way. Never changed lanes. Never passed anyone. After about 15 minutes, he turned down a narrow gravel road I'd never noticed before. I didn't follow right away. I drove past, waited, turned back, then slowly rolled down that road. It led to a clearing in the woods. No house, no barn, just trees. And in the dead center of the clearing was a massive hole. A round pit at least 20 feet across and 10 feet deep. The dirt around it was piled unevenly, like it had been dug by hand. No tire tracks, no machinery, just shovel marks. And inside that hole was rope, coils and coils of it. Hundreds of bundles, some new, some dirty, some tangled, some tied into knots. It looked like a bird's nest made of rope. A bed of rope. I felt sick. I didn't know what I was looking at. Was he making something? Or burying something? Or preparing for something? Then I heard a crunch behind me, a footstep. I spun around, no one. But everything went silent. Not quiet, muted. Like someone put a pillow over the world. The trees moved but didn't rustle. My breath felt delayed, like I was hearing it from far away. That's when I realized I didn't hear his truck leave. But it was gone. And in its place in the center of the clearing was a fresh oil stain. I ran. For 3 weeks, he didn't come back to the store. I tried to convince myself it was over. Maybe he'd finished whatever he was doing. Maybe he moved on. Maybe he never noticed I followed him. Then one Monday morning, the bell didn't ring and I looked up and there he was. But something was different. He wasn't wearing the jacket anymore. He wore a white shirt, or what used to be white. It was stained, tinted gray and brown, like it had soaked up sweat and dirt, and stuck all over it were little fibers, white, black, red rope strands. His hands were filthy. Not dusty, black, like he'd been digging in something wet and foul. This time he didn't take one rope. He took all of them, every bundle on the shelf, 12 in total. He carried them to the register and dropped them gently on the counter like offerings. My hands were shaking so hard I fumbled the scanner. I didn't say a word. I didn't dare. When I handed him the receipt, he didn't take it. He leaned in. His face was inches from mine. His voice came out low and slow. "You shouldn't have come." Then he walked out. I quit that night. Didn't even ask for my last paycheck. I packed a duffel bag and left town. Rented a room 3 states away. Changed my number. Deleted my social media. I stopped talking to everyone. For a while I told myself I had imagined parts of it. That maybe the hole was some weird art project. That maybe the silence was panic. That maybe he was just a creepy guy and nothing more. I almost convinced myself. Until last night. I took the trash out behind my apartment building. It was nearly midnight. The dumpster is in an alley between 2 buildings. I tossed the bag in and turned to leave when I heard a sound behind me. A slow, quiet creak, rhythmic, like something swaying on a wooden beam. I looked back. Above the dumpster, tied to a metal bar, was a rope, thick, braided, 25 feet, tied into a perfect loop, a noose. It swayed gently, creaking. I backed away, and as I did, I felt it, the silence. That heavy, unnatural quiet pressing against my ears. I turned toward the end of the alley. He was standing there, not moving, not breathing, just there. His shirt was filthy, his hands black, his eyes flat. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. I ran, I slammed my apartment door and locked it. I've been sitting here ever since, typing this with shaking hands. I keep hearing that creaking sound outside, soft, rhythmic, like rope under strain. He's not buying rope anymore. He has enough, and I know who it's for. It's for me.